Hey, it's Jordan with TYT Network, here waiting for the Donald. About a half hour late, so what are you going to do? USA. I'm here with a supporter. What about Trump drew you in?
I think the biggest thing for me is the economic policies. I think that we can do a lot better than what we're doing. So that's the number one thing that really drove me into Trump.
Which economic policies do you think he'll really implement that will help?
Putting the threat of the tariffs out there is a big deal. I think that'll help even the playing field to keep jobs in America and maybe bring some jobs back.
Have you been affected by the economic downturn?
Well, fortunately, I haven't been, but I've seen a lot of people, a lot of close friends and family that have been affected by it. And it's tough when you see good, skilled workers struggling out there to get a job. And when they do get a job offer, it's about half of what they should be getting paid because they have to take what jobs are out there. So it's tough. I've seen a lot of friends and family go through it. And I'm a small business owner also. So I feel a lot of the tax pressure there as well.
You know, Ohio has plenty of problems, believe me. Your real estate taxes are through the roof. And you know what they did is they tried not to raise taxes, but they raised everybody's real estate taxes. So the tax increase is absolutely a disaster.
His tax policy would be very tilted towards the wealthy. I think in the first year, it's similar to George W. Bush's. Gives huge breaks to, I'm talking millionaires, people in your bracket, a lot less.
Right, yeah, way less. Well, I'm not in that bracket, right? So I haven't really studied a lot on that. I'm looking at more on my personal agenda. And, you know, I'm fine to pay taxes, right? I have to pay taxes. That's my duty as a citizen. So, but what I'd like to do is see my taxes come down, even if it's by 2-3%. And then on the business side, I'd like to see some relief there as well.
But I'm asking, do you have an issue that your bracket's only getting 2 or 3%, and the people with yachts?
I don't believe if you make $1 million that you should be taxed more because you've made more, right? I'm a small business owner. My desire is to grow my business because I've taken the risk, right? I'm going out, I'm getting the loans, I'm hiring people, I'm trying to do the things that I need to do to improve my certain work stance. And everybody in America has that opportunity to do that. But you have to be able to take that risk and go out there and work for it and earn it. So if I get to where I'm making $1 million because I've worked my butt off for it, then hey, you know, good for me.
You know, obviously for the last few days there's been an uproar and protests, some violence. Donald Trump has kind of on stage said, I don't know what they're protesting about.
I don't take responsibility. Nobody's been hurt at our rallies.
Do you see why a lot of people are kind of upset and disturbed by his tone and the things he said?
Well, I think the tone and some of the things he's saying about, hey, I'd like to hit that guy in the face and those kind of things, I think those are just, if you break it down, if you and I were in a confrontation, right, you came up and ripped my sign or shoved me or were screaming in my face, my initial reaction would probably be, I want to punch you in the face, right?
Yeah, but neither of us are running for president.
Well, understood, but he's representing people.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
Some rough guys like we have right in here, and they started punching back. It was a beautiful thing. I mean, they started punching back.
He's not going to go into a boardroom or into other of these things. He's talking about what's happening right there, right now. And not that, I don't think he's condoning it. I'm saying I think he's trying to relate to the feelings that people are feeling. You know, I'm all cool with protesting, but when you're out there screaming in people's face, I hate Trump, he's full of hate, they're just preaching hate. They're hating on me and what I'm believing in. So to me, it's hypocrisy. It's you know, if they wanted to come up and say, hey, let's talk about it, then great, let's have a conversation. But screaming and yelling and getting in people's faces and coming into obviously a Trump rally and screaming and yelling and trying to intimidate and force their voice over yours is not the way to do it.
Hey, that sounds classic. Real classic.
I saw
What'd you say?
Get up in the one guy's face screaming at him, and then he screamed back, and then it was an African American that swung at a white guy, right? You guys don't really talk about that point.
You saw that at the Chicago rally?
Yeah, on the Fox News, you know, they were, yeah. So, I mean, it's all.
I didn't see who threw the first punch, to tell you the truth.
Oh, and I guess that's kind of the thing. Without seeing everything and without knowing all the specific, it's hard to make a judgment call. And I get everybody's emotional, but we got to really come together and understand that we have a right to express ourselves, but we can't be in people's personal space.
Yeah, I think by and large, the protesters are standing up and being vocally disruptive, but they're not. He's talking about they're getting in people's space, this and that. By and large, that hasn't been the case. Are people allowed to protest?
Out in the line, people with their Bernie signs, putting them in your face. I don't need to see that. It doesn't. I understand what's going on. I'm informed. I'm educated. I know what's happening. So to protest, great. Go say what you have to say. Do your chants. That's all great. But you need not be in anybody's space. And that goes on both sides, right?
The comments on Mexicans, Muslims. He was not so quick to denounce the KKK leader a couple of weeks ago.
I disagree with that. I think he announced it right away. I do know.
Did you see the CNN interview with Jake Tapper?
I've seen a couple of the things, and he was kind of,
He deflected.
He just was kind of trying to blow it off.
I don't know, honestly, I don't know David Duke. I don't believe I've ever met him. I'm pretty sure I didn't meet him, and I just don't know anything about him.
I don't believe Donald Trump's a racist. I don't think anybody in here's a racist. And I think a lot of that just gets blown out of proportion a little bit.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to generalize, but you look at, there was a video going around viral of a white Trump supporter screaming at an African-American yesterday, go back to Africa. You do see, just by the tone, we were at a Trump rally in Vermont, and supporters screaming, check their papers. There seems to be, in small pockets, ill will and bigotry.
There is a fact that there's 11, 12 million people here illegally, right? So it's not like it isn't happening. And what Trump is saying, and I agree with, is, hey, look, you can come in here, but do it legal. There's a process. Follow it.
People have to be alerted to the fact that we are getting some really bad characters coming into this country.
I think a lot of people who are protesting him now wouldn't be protesting as much if his issue was being strong on the border. I think it's the way he's brought the issue.
Get him out. Are you from Mexico? Are you from Mexico? Huh?
I don't think Donald Trump or Barack Obama or anybody can make somebody feel the way they do. That's up to every person, right? Every human being's in control of their own emotions and their own feelings. And, there's all kinds of issues out there, right? But it's up to us as Americans to come together, empathize and understand, but also not have our voices lost in that process as well.
So you want the Trump army, as you'd call it. You'd love to see black people, Latino people, people of all kinds.
I'm all for the melting pot. I have a lot of African American friends and stuff that are very much in support of, But what I've learned through
that are in support of him.
Yeah, and I was getting. They like his economic policies. They agree with his immigration policies, but they're a lot more libertarians almost, right? And that's what I've learned over time is, I'm not anti-gay, right? I'm not anti-Muslim, right? And so on the social issues, I'm a lot more liberal. And I think a lot of people hammer Trump on those issues. You see Ted Cruz and all these guys slamming him. You supported this and you supported Planned Parenthood, right? They do a lot of good things. You can argue back and forth all day long about abortion. You're not going to change someone's opinion of that. So, but we do have to come together as a people and understand that everybody has their right to their feelings, their ideas, and they should be able to, live without fear of having those and expressing them.